Welcome, birders. This is Ed Pullen, your host on the Banter podcast, where birders talk birding. This is yet one more update from Morocco. I'm again recording from the upstairs balcony outside my room at the Art Deco Hotel, right in downtown Marrakech. And I am just back from a really interesting day of birding. We got up early this morning and had a spectacular buffet breakfast here at the hotel. There were more kinds of jam than I usually have different things available for breakfast at most hotels I go to. Terrific spread. There was an omelet bar for the non-vegans in our group, basically everyone but me, and just a huge variety of wonderful things for me to eat. So I had a great breakfast and we got off to a good start and drove toward the High Atlas Mountains. There's a ski resort in the High Atlas Mountains at about 8,600 feet elevation. And as we went up the hill, it got foggier and foggier and foggier till we finally got to the ski resort where we started our birding. And it was modestly foggy, and we got a little sunbreak right after we got there, so the birding wasn't bad for the first couple of hours. We got a number of good species. We got right off the bat rock sparrow, also known as rock petronia, and they were by far the most numerous bird today. There were over 200 right around the main part of the ski area. And we looked for other birds pretty much the rest of the day. Had a really nice time. Saw both species of cloughs, red-billed and yellow-billed clough. Yellow-billed, also known as alpine clough. Kind of boggles me why it's called clough. The word cough, C-O-U-G-H, is cough, but the word clough, C-L-O-U-G-H, is clough, not cloth. But anyway, saw two species of cloughs and a good variety of other birds. Although shortly after we got going, the fog rolled in and it started to have freezing fog, little granules of ice pouring out of the sky. It was pretty cold up there. And so birding was tough the rest of the day. We did not get a look at Crimson-winged bunting. Crimson-winged bunting, which was one of our Crimson-winged sparrow, I think, which was one of our target species, but saw a bunch of other things. It was fun, and basically walked about 7 miles and we're pretty cold, but overall an interesting day. And then we had lunch at a little shop where we were essentially the only customers, and not a lot of choices for lunch. I had snacks from my bag, while others either had an omelet or had lamb tagine. Basically, tagines are a clay pot that things are slow roasted in, and I think the joke among the people who ordered the lamb was it was probably cooked about 6 hours, and in probably about 8 more hours it would have been tender. But it was a nice place. Everyone was incredibly hospitable, and we had a nice time. I got my first Diet Coke in a couple of days there. And so we headed down the mountain, had 2 nice stops on the way down. One of the things that happens when you're on a birding trip is you start to have a camaraderie among the members of the group. At least I've only been on a couple, but the birding tours that I've been on, you start to get to know the people in the group. And so one of the nice things about a day like today, when it was sort of cold and miserable a lot of the day, is people talk more and they get to know each other. I got to talk with Connie for a little bit. She's an interesting person. She's a dentist from the Midwest, and she and her husband have teenage twins, and they're both birders, and so they each go on a birding trip a year. They just don't go on the same birding trip. One of them goes on a trip and the other takes care of the kids, and they take turns with that, so that works out well for them. So that was a kind of interesting way for a birding couple to make it all work. I got to talk a lot with Michael, the leader. He kind of went on for quite a while about and I can't give you the real details, but just because I can't remember them, he's just an expert on Mexican birding. He's birded all over Mexico, and there's a species of towhee, I think he calls it greenback towhee, that is in just a little isolated area between some mountains that he thinks ought to be a species of its own, not spotted towhee or the eastern towhee, and certainly not a towhee that's south of there. I think brownback towhee, but it's he thinks it's isolated and probably needs to be a species of its own. And he went into all the reasons, and we got into a big, long discussion of lumps and splits, and it was pretty interesting for bird nerds to talk about. We had fun with that. And of course, I got a lot of time to talk to Marcus today. Marcus is a friend from Tacoma. He's a pharmaceutical rep, so we talk a little bit of the same languages. I'm a family doctor, and we talked some just birding stuff and business stuff and all kinds of things. So it was kind of interesting to pass some time with Marcus today. So I had a really nice day, and am going to turn in, it's not that early, it's after 8 here, after 7 here, we're going to have dinner at 8, and get ready for another day. Tomorrow we head back to the coast for another, pretty much a whole nother avifauna of birds, so should get a bunch more birds. I got my life list up to 1,496 species today, so tomorrow almost certainly I'll go over 1,500. So I don't know what the 1,500 would be. It might be great skua, it might be some sort of a tern or gull or shorebird, it might be a shearwater. There's a split off Manx shearwater that I could get. It's hard to tell, but anyway, probably get to 1,500 tomorrow. So for we listers, those are milestones, numbers like that. Anyway, thanks for listening, and until next time, good birding, good day.